We are talking coconut oil, skincare, wellness, and beauty with Lucy Buckingham. She is the founder of Lucy B. And if you don't know that brand, it's a beautiful brand offering organic coconut oil and skincare. And in this week's episode, we delve into so many interesting tips and inspirations that I know you are going to absolutely love. So let's keep it a short intro today and just get straight into this really fun episode. Lucy, a warm welcome to the Face Yoga Expert podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to chat to you today.
Thank you for coming in. And you've got such an interesting story to tell and such an interesting brand as well. And I know my audience are going to love everything you've got to offer. So I feel like it might be nice to start at the beginning. You tell me a little bit about how you got into beauty and wellness.
So it goes back a long time back to when I left school at 16. At school, I'm dyslexic. I really struggled academically at school. So for me, like the best thing I wanted to do was like leave school at 16, and I really was interested in hairdressing. So did sort of some work as a hairdresser, and then went to college and started my training, which I worked in a salon for about a year. But for me, I really love the hands-on approach. So like the massage and that side of it over like the color and cutting. And again, sort of what I've realized now, a lot of this is all down to like confidence. I was always worried about what people would think, mixing the colors, is it going to turn out right, cutting, etc. So I decided actually that wasn't for me, and I went and did a makeup course. Again, that is very much on looks, and I really love that like hands-on approach. I love being with customers and making them feel good in themselves. And then I worked on a very like well-known makeup brand counter in Selfridges. And one day I was chatting to one of the girls about what I love doing, and she was like, "Lucy, you really love like that hands-on approach. You'd be really good at like beauty, massage and that side of it over. Even though you make people feel good, it's that real hands-on, personal touch kind of thing." And so I ended up looking at and doing a beauty course. So I'm a CIBTAC qualified beauty therapist, and really focused on like facials, massage. I did like nails, I did self tan, waxing, but I really loved in the spas, like making people feel good in themselves. I then left and I started my own beauty business. And on the side of that, my family and I very much were into sort of our health in some ways, because when I was 18 months old, I was diagnosed as a celiac. And although that's a very established thing now, a lot of people know about intolerances, and there's so much more out there for that. When I was diagnosed, it was very limited. My mum had to go to the pharmacy to get bread, pasta. It wasn't just in the shops like it is today. So my parents had to really change their way of eating. They'd never had or been around someone who had an intolerance before. So really got into their cooking, and sort of as a family, we're very much into our food. And that's where the coconut oil came into it, where Lucy B sort of started. And the name originated from because of that story of me being a celiac. We were using coconut oil as a family all the time. And I was using it in my treatments for massage. So I was using the oil for my customers and clients, and using it for like head massage. At that time, there was very limited coconut oil on the market. It was really expensive. They were in plastic jars. So we looked at ways of importing it over. And my dad was the one that said, let's call it Lucy B because of the story, which I cringed at. I was like, absolutely not. And I still cringe when people say, oh, what's the brand? I'm like, Lucy Boo. And they're like, ICBs. And I'm like, no, Lucy Boo. Like, I just find it cringy because it's my name, but it's kind of just developed from there, really. I never planned to have like my face anywhere. Obviously, the story was about me. But sort of over time, obviously, shows and events, I then started to show more, and now I'm very much present on the social media, etc.
That's amazing. What a wonderful, inspirational story. And also, I love how your family is so part of it as well. I know you're very much the face of it and in the driving seat of the brand now, but it's lovely to think that this was originally something that you all started together. And are your family still involved day to day?
Yeah, so my dad was the one business side. He very much set up Lucy B in terms business, did all the hard work in the early days at the start of Lucy B. So it was my dad and Katrina, who's our family friend, and she still works with us. And I was doing like the Twitter and social media side of things, but I still had my own beauty business. And to start for us, Lucy B was sort of a part-time business. I never planned to stop my beauty business. I absolutely loved it. I loved my clients and kind of what I was building, but it got to the point where I started to reduce my days, and actually Lucy B really took over. And it was like, you can't, I couldn't commit to both really well. So decided to stop the beauty side of things and just really focus on Lucy B. So my dad's still very much involved. My brother works in the business now. He's really amazing with like figures and numbers. So he does that side of the business. And my sister, she's a qualified nutritionist, but also really great with helping with like development of the products. I work closely with her as well.
That's amazing. And I do want to get more into the benefits of coconut oil in a bit, but I'm just really interested because much of my audience owns small businesses or building brands at the moment. What would you say is your favorite and your least favorite parts of being a co-founder and co-owner of a brand like yours?
I think my favorite part is you're very much in control of what you want to do. I love the fact like it's really down to us with what products we want to bring to market. If you love what you do, it doesn't make it any less hard, but you just enjoy doing it. And I find that's something that I really love. I think what I find hard is I do get overexcited about things or want stuff to happen straight away. I've always been a bit like, I want things now. And I'm trying to learn over time that things take a while, especially things that are good and worth waiting for. So it's just managing that sort of like energy to not get too overexcited. And sometimes I share too much too soon with my customers on social media, and then things might not quite happen the way we wanted them to, or products might end up not passing stability or different things, and we have to go back to the start. So that's where I find it quite hard. And obviously, when it's your own brand, you're very, you love it, you put all that time into it. But if you're working with manufacturers or other people, sometimes they don't give you exactly what you wanted from them in terms of like quality. So that can be quite hard, obviously, like making sure you find the right partners. And we've had a bit of that with the skincare. When we originally launched our first range, which was back in like 2018, 2019, we actually pulled it from the market after working on it for quite a while. It was about 2, 3 years, just because quality and the packaging and everything that we had expected it to be, it wasn't. And actually, it was just, we were really worried it was going to jeopardize the brand we'd worked on for so long. And we actually pulled the range from the market and found a new manufacturers and started work again and relaunched back in 2020 with our new range. So it was about a year and a half afterwards, we managed to relaunch, but only with 3 products, where the original one was a bigger range. But yeah, the actual quality of what we got wasn't at all what we'd been trialing and discussing. But that was a massive learning curve. And actually, I learned in terms of even as like a business person, it just really helped me grow. First impressions are everything with a range. So it was really important for us to get it right and make sure that we didn't just sort of compromise.
Absolutely. And what would your advice be for anyone that is starting a brand at the moment? Do you have any sort of top tips you'd like to pass on?
I think it is really making sure you know exactly what it is you want, and making sure you have your non-negotiables. So having your list, and like I said, for instance, like I'm in skincare, so I might meet a manufacturer and you have a meeting and it's all exciting and they're telling you lots of things, and sometimes it's easy to get led by what they can do, but it might not necessarily be what you wanted, and you might get ideas and inspiration from them. But it's making sure that if there is anything that you really set out to be, don't compromise on that, because it's what makes your brand different. It's what you're passionate about, and no one can be you, and no one can be as passionate about you or care for your brand like you do. So if you truly believe in something, it's making sure that you stick to that. I also feel like it's, a lot of people now, it's always about the story or being the face or being present, but not all brands have to be like that. But it's just knowing your messaging and story, and definitely just always sticking to your core, yeah, your core beliefs really.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's knowing that why and just staying with that why all the way through. I always say you have to pass every decision through your why, because when you do that, you actually think, okay, is this aligned with my values? And is this aligned with what I want? Because like you say, different people are going to have different opinions. And particularly if you're working either in a team of people or you're collaborating with people, you need to know that it's going to be right for you and also right for your customers, but particularly right for you. And I think as the face of the brand as well, if you're the one talking about it all the time, then you need to feel really passionate and really enthusiastic about it, but also believe in it deeply at your core.
Well, Lucy B's been going about 13 years now. So I was like early 20s. I'm 34 now. But you can, if you're just starting out, this is a bit different because you're obviously, you know what you're doing. But I feel like it's okay for a brand to change direction and how that develops and changes over time because even with the skincare at the moment we're going for a rebrand, but we only launched, it was 2020, so it hasn't been going that long, and we were going for a rebrand and a few friends were like, why are you changing it all? But it just felt like the way we needed the skincare to be. We'd gone from food to skincare, and we kind of, the design was still quite foodie, and actually when we compared it to what was on the shelf, it didn't stand out in the right way. We felt it was too busy and actually wanted to strip it back and make it more streamlined. And that, it was a big step, but actually it's like it's okay for your plans and your directions to change as long as it's again what you truly believe in, because it's your brand and no one knows it like you. So I always like to say that part as well, because I just think that is quite an important message. And like things do change, and even in ourselves, like things I thought were good for me, good for years ago, I don't do now. Like the gym, it's like I thought I have to lift as heavy as I can. I loved it, but it was all about how heavy I could go, 1 rep max. Now I'm just like, if I'm moving, if my mind feels good, if I feel clarity and clear, that's making my day better or my week better over like pushing myself, because that doesn't like fulfill me as much anymore. So it's kind of the same with work, making sure you're doing stuff that really does fulfill you. It doesn't make it easier all the time, but you're doing it because you really do love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you say, if we can pivot, then that's really great because I think I often give the message when I'm doing business coaching of how important consistency is. But also on the other side of that, it's important to be consistent. But if you feel like something needs to change direction, or you need to close the door on something, or you need to flip something completely on its head, that's also okay. And you don't have to let the consistency almost cloud the fact that you need to also change regularly, because I think it keeps things fresh for you, it keeps things fresh for your clients and your customers, and like we were saying, it goes back to helping you feel completely aligned. And I think we evolve as people, so it's really important our businesses and our brands evolve with us.
Definitely. Yeah, that's so true.
Now, I'd like to get into coconut oil a little bit because I know that is definitely the speciality, and really where the business started. I know you've evolved into this amazing skincare brand as well. But for anyone that doesn't already use coconut oil, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what it is and how and why we should be using it.
So coconut oil is a great fat for cooking, baking, and spreading. And it's really great for cooking because it can cook at high temperatures. What I love about it is, especially for skin as well, and just in general, but it contains something called lauric acid, which is antibacterial and antifungal. So it works really well on skin. So it's really, because of the fatty acids as well, it's really nourishing and hydrating. But it can help even with baby skin, so like sore bottoms, cradle cap, eczema, psoriasis, dry skin in any way. It can really help with soothing and helping the skin barrier. It's a really good fatty chain acid, which really helps with energy as well. So there's a lot around like brain health, the skin, and the overall function of the body. So it's a really great fat to use. Before Lucy B started, I actually like had a time where I was like scared of, healthy fats or just fats in general. It was all about like low fat diets, low carb, like just very much having not processed, but you think, oh, I'll have a low fat yogurt and it'll have all these sweeteners and sugars in it, and I'd eat all those things and nothing was filling me. I felt really unhappy with myself, bloated, lethargic. I was putting on weight and I couldn't understand why, because everything I was buying was low fat or, like very much diet culture led. And it was actually when we were introduced to coconut, it took me a little while to come around to actually like realizing how good it was. But I read a book from a guy called Bruce Fife about the benefits of coconut oil. And actually, from then, when I started to introduce healthy fats into my diet and other fats as well, not just coconut, variety is key. Um, just the difference in how I felt satisfied for longer, fuller. I wasn't snacking, eating like just unnecessary things. It was like very much like eating a balanced diet, like whole foods, your healthy complex carbs, proteins, fats. And actually, I felt so much better. And like in the long run, I've like been consistent now with like eating well because you feel fuller for longer. So that's kind of the benefits of obviously healthy fats. They're good for the skin, body, mind, and in general.
Yeah. And how do you bring coconut oil into your day? Do you use it when you're cooking? And I know you said you have other healthy fats as well. So what other healthy fats do you particularly like?
So with the coconut oil, I use it for sort of any, not all cooking, but like quite a lot of cooking. So if I'm frying anything, I do that. I always do like pancakes or eggs, any sort of recipes that just need frying. You can do like roast potatoes with them as well. But other fats I love like extra virgin olive oil, like flaxseed oil, omega oils, avocado oil. But mostly if it is cooking, I obviously use Lucy B coconut oil. But I do try and get a mixture of fats in because it is so good for your brain health as well. And I feel like, as you start to like, I'm like 34 now, it's like important to getting your healthy fats because it's just good for your overall well-being.
It's so important, absolutely. And tell me a little bit about your skincare routine.
My main thing with skincare, and I'm not trying to like, plug the brand, is I always clean my face in the morning because cleaning your face in the morning, I just think it sets you up for the day. It's like brushing your teeth. Like in the night, we do sweat, we build up dirt, grime, our hair picks up stuff through the day. So I don't wash my hair too regularly, once or twice a week. It just lasts. So for me, when I'm laying on my pillow, all what's on your hair will go on your pillow. So I like to make sure that I obviously clean my pillow regularly. I would like to add that, but I always like to clean my face in the morning. And then, SPF is really important to protect our skin from premature aging, sun damage, pigmentation, but also skin cancer. So it's really important to wear SPF. And then in terms of product wise, I use like a retinol alternative. So I've got really sensitive skin, like I've got rosacea, so my skin does flare up quite easily. So like fragrance free products, which most of the Lucy B products are, I like to use them on my face. And then I just use like an AHA, PHA tonic a couple of times a week just to help with boosting cell renewal. And self tan. I'm absolute lover of self tan. Like it makes me feel so much better in myself and like just generally I feel like better when I've got a tan on and for my clothes and my whole confidence, I'm way more confident in myself, which is really weird. But yeah, in terms of skincare, I do kind of do a lot of facial massage as well, which I know you're obviously an expert in.
Yeah, love a bit of face massage. And with your self tanning, do you have a Lucy B self tan?
Yes, we have. So it uses a natural DHA. It's dermatologically tested for sensitive skin as well. And I now work with a chemist who helps formulate the products to make sure it's all the right levels and everything like that. So it's obviously safe to bring to market. But what I'll do is I'll work with the chemist and say what I want to achieve, what ingredients, how I want it to be, and I'll blacklist and we'll then work together to make sure it's right. So all of our products also are independently reviewed for pregnancy and breastfeeding. And this isn't obviously to like scare pregnant ladies into worrying that they can't use any product. But for me, it's really important that, every ingredient we use is safe to use. So, for example, our eye cream we've created is a retinol alternative. So it's got data studies around it to give you the same results as retinol, so help with fine lines, elasticity. But it is safe to use in pregnancy and breastfeeding because vitamin A is one thing that is really not advised to use when you're pregnant. And we've actually just been shortlisted for the Mother and Baby Awards for that product, which I'm really excited
Oh, that's
for.
brilliant news.
Yeah, so with the tan, it's very natural. It's 2 hours for a medium, 6 to 8 hours for a dark. It's quick dry, non-sticky, and it's honestly like a game changer all year round. It's really natural results, but very effective.
Oh, I'm going to look into that. It sounds great.
Until I start using the gua sha or like my hands to do facial massage, like the release in that and actually how much puffiness and swelling you can reduce. around the eyes, like the overall skin complexion, boosting like oxygen and blood cells to the skin surface. Like it is probably one of the biggest things I think you can do for your skin in terms of like in general and sort of as we get a bit older, because it really helps with sculpting and the overall skin.
That's great. And you've talked so beautifully about what you eat and how important that is, and particularly using the coconut oil. You've told us about your skincare routine and, of course, the facial massage. I'd love to know, is there any other wellness routines that you do throughout your day? Any sort of like go to non negotiables you've got?
It's a really boring one, but water. I have to drink
Not
about
boring at
two.
all.
I've got like my 2.5 litre bottle, and people go, "Do you actually drink that in a day?" And I'm like, I absolutely do, because if I haven't got it, I don't drink enough water. If I've got a glass, I'll have a little bit and leave it. But water, just obviously, it's so good for you. It flushes out toxins. It's good for your overall well-being, and you feel much better when you drink water. But it's amazing actually how many people don't drink enough. And I know some people find it hard, and that's when I'd say like add some fruit or some lemon or like different flavors to it, natural, so that you're just getting your water in, because it is so important for your overall well-being. So that's definitely a big one. I also, being a celiac, obviously gut health is really important to me. So I usually every morning, like probiotic, start the day. I try and get a bit of movement daily, but I have to admit at the moment I can't say I've been doing much, but it's it's in my mind. I go through stages of exercise. I love it. But I have two young kids and working at the moment. I just find I'm obviously busy with them and active with them, but sometimes actual exercise takes a back burner. And I think, but yeah, the one thing is the water. That is a big one for me.
The water, yeah, it is so important. Actually, I think it's really important to say, because I think even if we are good with our water, I'm good with my water. But as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to drink more today. Exactly, have a sip now. I need to drink more today. So I think it's really important, that message. And also, I think that message about stages of life with your exercise as well is also so key, because I think we can put pressure on ourselves, and that pressure we put on ourselves can be more damaging for the body than actually not doing the exercise or doing the exercise. So I think it's okay just to say, look, I'm in a stage in my life at the moment where my kids are really young, I'm really busy with the business. Any movement is good movement, but actually you'll come out the other side again. My girls are 13 and 9 now, and actually I'm back into going into the gym. I don't lift particularly heavy. I lift, but I lift what's good for me, and I try to live in tune with my cycle and how I'm feeling that day. I've always made sure I move, walk, and do some yoga every day. That's always been my non-negotiables, even when they were little, even if it was 2 minute child's pose and just taking them to the park, that would be my movement or exercise. But I think it's important to go, actually, we've got a lot of years in our lives. So maybe there's 3 years or 5 years where we can't maybe get to the gym 3 times a week, but that will come again.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. So I was actually getting to a point not long ago where I was like I was becoming quite stressed and like aggy, but it was because I was trying to pressure myself to do it. And it was like, actually, this isn't going to help, because I'm making myself feel worse for it. Another thing is I've got such a busy mind, like I always have done. And, and I find at night is when my anxiety dreams really come out. Um, and I started taking magnesium not too long ago, but it has been a game changer for me. So that is definitely another wellness thing that I'm now spot on. And I find my sleep quality, even because the kids wake up a little bit, but that's not for this podcast. Um,
No, it's definitely for this podcast. It's fine. You can talk about it. It's a reality. Many of us are either going through it or been there before.
that when I do sleep, but the quality of sleep since having magnesium, I find like my mind isn't as busy, it almost is reducing that like sort of clutter that's in my head, which has been really nice. So magnesium is another one that I'm kind of now like having to do like every night. But I love an early night. Like I'm sort of by 8:30, I'm sort of like that's quite late for me, to be honest. By 8, I'm done. Like, but I just feel like just do what's right for you, like with things. And with social media now, it's amazing because there's so much out there for us to like see and learn and do. But it's like, do what's right for you, and also just do a few things, because sometimes I could be like, I'm going to do it all, and then I don't do any of it. And it's like small little steps, like add in maybe one thing in every few weeks, and that will hopefully become more of your routine. And then you'll see that actually you've been doing it consistently. Whereas if you try and do it all at once, for me, that is when it's too much and I think I can't do any of it and I don't then do it. Whereas if I just do little bits here and there, I like writing things down because then it's off out of my mind and on paper, and I might remember it looking back at the notes. But if I don't, it's there somewhere. But I feel like it's quite easy to over bombard ourselves with too much wellness or too much good things, and then you do feel like you're not doing any of it well.
Yeah, it's just about going easy on yourself and giving yourself a little bit of grace. And I think also just giving ourselves a little bit of self love and self gratitude for what we do and what we do achieve. I think so many of us don't actually sit down and go, oh my goodness, I'm actually juggling so many plates at the moment. I'm doing so much for other people. I'm so successful in so many areas. We often just look at what we're not doing.
It's so true, actually, because you never go, oh, well done for doing this, that, and
Yeah.
the other. It's always like, what's next? What haven't I done? We're so hard on ourselves in that sense, and that's so true. Because
It's so true. Someone said to me that once my girls are grown up and maybe, I've moved on from my business or I've retired or whatever, I'll look back and go, how did I manage it all? How did I do it all? And actually, when you're in it, like you say, you think, oh, well, I'm not actually doing as much as I'd like, or I haven't achieved that goal yet. But I do think it is important just to remind ourselves, but also remind each other as well. I'm looking at you with this successful brand. You're a mother of two, you're doing so much, and actually, probably not congratulating yourself for how much you are doing.
that is true. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, the final question for you, if you were to share with my audience your top tip for inner peace and just feeling good, what would it be?
Knowing you, like being you throughout, and always be true to yourself, always prioritize, your wellness and yourself in situations and in life, because you are so important. And when you feel good in yourself, everything else sort of happens positively. More things sort of come to you. So I would just say, like, be true to yourself.
That's great.
So you can find us over on Instagram. It's Lucy B Coconut. And you'll see where I post on there. Also, our website is www.lucyb.com. And yeah, I'm on social media, so please do drop me a message. I do all the social media, like grid and messages. So if you do message me, I'd love to hear from you. But I really hope you found this useful. And thank you so much for having me. I've absolutely loved speaking to you today.